Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel, to my wonderland, and in today's video we're here to talk everything about Stranger Things.
It's coffee time!
So in today's video I have the cast of Stranger Things Season 1 joining me on this side, and some other members that were also in Season 2 in this other side of the video. They are part of my Stranger Things Funko Pop collection that I hope it's going to grow, because there has been already announced new pops for Season 3, but this is not what you're here for. You're here to hear everything about Season 1 and 2, and even some insights on Season 3 from Stranger Things. So I have been expecting Stranger Things for 1.5 years, and it's been a tough waiting time because I am really obsessed with this series. It is fair to say it is one of my newest favorite series. Like, from more modern series, this is one that I'm really addicted to. You know, there are many series out there that you like, you enjoy, you love, but this one is like an addiction. And so because the new season it's coming out on the 4th of July, I decided to binge watch Season 1 and 2 again to get in the mood for Season 3. But I know a lot of you out there do not have maybe the time right now to binge watch those seasons again to get ready. So I'm here for you to recap Season 1 and Season 2 of Stranger Things, and also let you know where the series is going. Obviously, I'm not gonna explain everything in every episode because we would be here for days. So I'm just gonna give you the ground information that we collected from Season 1 and 2. Let's start with Season 1. First of all, we have our main plot, which takes place in Hawkins, Indiana, where the young Will Byers disappears after a night where he was playing Dungeons and Dragons with his friends Dustin, Mike, and Lucas. So our beloved Will disappears that night. He gets abducted, and his mom Joyce thinks that he's still alive and that he is communicating with her through electricity, may that be through phone or through light bulbs. On the other hand, we have 11, and 11 is a kid that has been used for experiments because they are trying to use kids with special abilities to fight against the Soviet Union, use them as weapons to get information, and so they're kind of being used for war purposes. And this has all happened in the Department of Energy in Hawkins, and 11 is one of those experiments. She is number 11, so that is also why 11 gets that name. It's because she has a tattoo that marks her as number 11, and this is what she uses to introduce herself later on in the series. Basically, in one of the tests that they are doing with 11, she opens this barrier between the upside down world and the real one, and this releases the Demogorgon, which is the main evil monster of Season 1. So 11 succeeds in escaping these facilities, and she is found by Mike, and he decides to hide her in his basement. They interrogate her, but they don't get much information from her because, as we know, the 11 in Season 1 doesn't really talk much. They decide to call her L, which is short for 11, and they, you know, give her food, and they discover one day that she has actually powers between them. It is telekinesis, and they discover that 11 actually knows about Will, and she is able to find him. Throughout the whole first season, Nancy is kind of in a love triangle between Steve and Jonathan. We don't know if she's going to engage with Jonathan or if she's gonna still be with the ass that is Steve in Season 1, because let's face it, at the very beginning of the series everybody hated him, but he's one of those redemption characters that redeems himself, especially in Season 2. So while Nancy goes to a party at Steve's house with Barb disappears, and she is taken into the upside down world by the Demogorgon. We need to remember that the Demogorgon kind of works like sharks. they can smell blood and they always go towards the blood. So there is this drop of blood that falls in the swimming pool when Barb was sitting there, and that is why basically the Demogorgon finds her and takes her into the Upside Down. And at this point of the series, we still don't know if she survived the attack or not. And on the other hand, we have our beloved Hopper that gets himself kind of caught into the whole investigation process and discovers that this Department of Energy is hiding a lot more than he thought, and he discovers that they are using these kids for experiments to build them as weapons for the Cold War. And you know, Hopper is one of those characters that I believe everybody loved from the very beginning because he's just so real. And so he realizes that the disappearance of Will Byers has definitely something to do with these experiments. The Upside Down. So the Upside Down is basically this world that 11 opened the gate to, and where the Demogorgon lives. So at the end of season 1, we get to see a little bit more of the Upside Down world when Joyce and Hopper go in to try to rescue Will, and they actually succeed and they bring him back. Sadly, when Hopper and Joyce went into the Upside Down, we also got confirmation that our beloved Barb did not survive the attack by the Demogorgon. And on the other hand, we have 11 that is still trying to run away from the Department of Energy, and while she's trying to run away, she ends up in the school and ends up summoning the Demogorgon that comes and actually starts to kill the people, the bad guys from the Department of Energy. And in the end, we have to see how 11 ends up sacrificing herself to kill the Demogorgon and save her friends. And the last episode of season 1 is actually already building up to the events that are going to happen in season 2. We can see on the one hand our group of beloved friends spending Christmas with their families. Will is back, everybody's happy, but we get to see Will going to the toilet and kind of spitting out on the sink a slug which goes down the drain. We don't know where it came from. We all assume it's from the Upside Down world, and we don't know what's gonna happen with that, but apparently there's still a connection between Will and the Upside Down world. On the other hand, we have Hopper that decides to strike a deal with the Department of Energy. He's just trying to protect the town, but then we also see him going to the woods and putting on the floor some Eggos, which are 11's favorite food, as we know. So this already hints that 11 did survive the attack of the Demogorgon and that she will be back for season 2. Now let's go to season 2. Let's recap. And so many things happened in season 2 and so many great new characters were added. I believe season 1 was kind of building up the main basic plot story, and in season 2 the Duffer Brothers brought it to the next level, and it was a fantastic season. At the very beginning of season 2, we are already introduced to a character that is going to be super important for the development of the whole season as well as for 11. Basically, we're following a group of teenage offenders that are running away from the police, and one of the girls uses a power to make the police believe that this bridge is falling down, but it's all in his head. And after we see that scene, we cut to her and her nose is bleeding, and then we see a tattoo with the number 8. So we know that there were other experiments that they did where kids survive that are exactly like 11. Meanwhile, in Hawkins, we have a new member that is going to join our gang of friends, and that is Max, Mad Max, and I absolutely loved her. I loved everything about her because I also could relate kind of to her character. I was also a arcade gamer when I was young, and mostly I had to play just with guys, so I totally understand where she's coming from. And basically the next time we see our beloved friends from the first season, they are in this arcade and they discover that somebody has beaten their best score at the game, Dig Dug, and they later find out that Max is the one that beat them, and she ends up joining our group of friends. Now let's talk about Eleven's return. So in season 2, we can see that Hopper is on the one hand very angry with the Department of Energy because they have not kept their promise of leaving Hawkins alone, and he still sees some weird things happening that could be related to the experiments. But he also became a dad overnight because we can see that he adopted sort of 11. He brought her home and we see a more adult 11. Her hair has grown to these beautiful curls, and the problem is that he needs to keep her a secret because else she would be in danger, and she starts to get really frustrated that she's not allowed to leave his home. She's not allowed to do anything else with her friends, and because she's also a teenager, she starts acting out, but this is a teenager that has telekinetic powers among other things. And so one day they have a huge fight. I think it was about just a television, and then she storms out and decides to leave. Now let's talk relationships, and we have in season 2 Nancy and Steve that split up because Nancy got drunk in a party and she said something to Steve that, you know, it was kind of the truth and he was not ready for it, and they split up. We also have a blossoming beautiful relationship between Max and Lucas. However, Max's older brother Billy threatens Lucas not to date his sister, and in this season we get amazing new characters. We get Billy, who is the super hot bad guy, and it is now going to start a kind of battle with Steve because they both kind of have the same, you know, vibe of beautiful tough guys, and now they're two. So they start kind of like a fight between them, and it gets very like steamy and it's really hilarious. We also have another relationship, which is Joyce that finally finds a guy, and that is Bob, which was one of the best things of season 2. He was cute, he was hilarious, and he was a hero. And as for Dustin, he also kind of starts a relationship, but with some kind of creature that he finds in a dumpster. He takes him home, gives him some Three Musketeers, and decides to call him D'Artagnan because of that. And short, we call him Dart. And he keeps him home until he realizes that he's growing too fast. He's getting too dangerous. He eats a cat, and they decide they want to kill him, but it's too late because it has already escaped. So 11 is also going through some hardships when it comes to relationships. One of the times that she escaped Hopper's house, she goes to the school and she finds Mike basically just having fun with Max, and she thinks that they are flirting or there's something more there, and she gets really pissed and she gets Max to fall down and she just storms out of the school. And she also finds in Hopper's house some information about her mother, so she decides to just leave Hawkins and go search for her biological mom. So she finds her mom, and we all know, as we saw in season 1, that her mother is in no position to really have a conversation with anybody because they've messed up with her brain while she was in the Department of Energy. But 11, thanks to her powers, is able to connect with her mother's mind and see basically her whole past. So she understands what happened to her as a kid, what happened to her mother. Basically 11 was stolen from her mom, and when her mom tried to go back to get her, to rescue her, the people at the Department of Energy sort of fried her brain. And that's why she's not able to even think or have proper conversations anymore. That's why she's in this kind of comatose mental state. And after this, 11 just keeps on her journey, and she actually finds number 8. Now, another relationship that starts to build up a little bit more in season 2 is Nancy and good Jonathan. I'm gonna call him friend zone Jonathan because this is a typical guy that sadly always ends up in the friend zone. That's how I will call him, friend zone Jonathan. And they decide that enough is enough and they want to put to rest Barb's story, and they decide to call her parents and ask them to meet them because they want to tell them the real story of what happened to their daughter. But obviously that call was being watched by the Department of Energy, so they get involved, and Nancy and Jonathan never get to go to that meeting. They're being taken by the Department of Energy, and where they get shown all the laboratories, they get to the upside down, and they are, you know, they get the whole explanation of why they should not tell anybody about the things that are happening. Now let's talk about our upside down and how it returns in season 2. Basically, Will has never fully recovered after he spent so much time in the upside down world, and we get to see through his eyes what he's seeing. Like in between, he has these flashes of upside down moments where he sees like this huge shadow appear over Hawkins, and they take him to the doctor, but they assume it is just PTSD after being in the upside down for so long. However, he is really scared of these visions because deep inside he knows that they are true and that it's something that it's coming to Hawkins, and he starts to just draw these things, and these drawings will have a really big importance in season 2. At some point, Joyce decides to show these drawings to Hopper, and they discover that there is this maze of tunnels of the upside down down below this pumpkin field, and Hopper decides to go there by himself, but he gets trapped in there, and now it is Joyce's time to go and rescue him. For that, funny enough, they use Bob because he's a nerd, we all love him, and he's really good with puzzles, so they build up this whole puzzle with all of the drawings from Will, and Bob helps them find where X is, where the mark is, where they can find Hopper, so they embark in a mission to go and rescue him. And let's not forget Dart, because he does belong to the upside down world. We get to know that he is what it's called a demo dog, and there is more. It's not just him, there is a full gang, and we can see Dustin and Steve fighting against them in a junkyard, and also Lucas picks up Max to go fight there as well, because Max does not believe anything that Lucas told her about the upside down world, so he decides to take her there so that she can see it with her own eyes, which she does. And this battle in the junkyard and Steve coming back with his bat with the nails, it is epic and hilarious, and I absolutely love the whole atmosphere, kind of Jurassic Park atmosphere that this whole fight scene has. Now let's talk about number 8, also called Callie. So 11 ends up finding them, and she joins this gang of teenagers, and they are helping her to become more powerful, to control her powers, to develop more of her skills. But at some point, she realizes that her friends in Hawkins need her help, and she decides it's time for her to go. But then there's also like this police raid, and she has to run away for her life. Now let's talk the demo dogs. So these creatures are adorable and I absolutely love them, and in this season 2, Will kind of helps them find the core, and they think, okay, when we find the core we're gonna be able to kill this creature, but it was a trap. And so they're trapped in the tunnels, they run away, but the demo dogs also make their way out, and they end up in the facility in the Department of Electricity, and we have their Will, Bob, Joyce, Hopper, they're all trapped in there, and we see an amazing, you know, sequence of scenes where they're trying to escape and fight the demo dogs, and it is fantastic. But sadly, our beloved Bob ends up sacrificing his life to save everybody else. And there's a moment there where he looks at Joyce and everybody got their hearts broken right there. It was just, everybody wanted to cry in that moment. So yeah, he sacrifices his life to save everybody else. And on the other hand, we have our kids, and we have Dustin, who is very smart, and he realizes that this creature that they're trying to fight against is actually very similar to the Mind Flayer. And basically there is this big creature that is controlling all the demo dogs. So what they have to do is find the main creature that is controlling everyone so that they can kill all of them at the same time. So 11 comes to save the day, and together with Hopper, she is trying to close the gate to the Upside Down while Hopper is shooting all the demo dogs that are appearing to try to stop 11. This is like an epic end scene. It was amazing. I loved it, and we get to see how much stronger 11 has become thanks to all the training and all the help from number 8 and her friends. And let's not forget Will. He kind of gets an exorcism in this season because they're trying to end the connection that he has with the Upside Down. They try to save him, and he goes through this kind of exorcism scene, and it is fantastic. Loved it. So 1 month later, and to conclude season 2, Barb is finally put to rest. She finally gets a funeral, and we also get a school dance, which was so much fun to watch. We get to see Mike and 11 share their first kiss. We get to see Max and Lucas share their first kiss, and Dustin is sadly left without a date, but it is super cute when Nancy goes to dance with him. All seems perfect. Things have been solved. The gate has been closed, but at the very end of season 2, we get to see the monster that Will had been seeing in his visions, and we see that monster kind of hovering all over Hawkins, and we know that our kids are still not done fighting the evil. Now let's talk season 3. So we're gonna be in 1985, the time where Back to the Future was in the theaters, and we're going to see that 11 and Mike have developed that relationship, as well as Lucas and Max, and I cannot wait to see that. So we are now 1 year after we defeated the Mind Flayer, and Hawkins, there's still weird things happening, and we're also getting a new character which is supposed to be like this evil mayor, and they're also constructing a mall in Hawkins. The 4th of July is approaching, and weird things start to happen. Lucas' sister Erica, whom we all loved from her little scenes in season 2, she discovers something apparently, and there's a lifeguard disappears in a pool or something like that. So there's definitely something coming, and our friends are gonna have to team up again to defeat it. So they have done a time jump in a way, because it has been a full year after the last time we saw our characters, which makes sense because the actors are growing up very fast, so that jump in time makes perfect sense. So you guys may know that season 3 is not supposed to be the end season. They have said it's probably gonna be 4, but maybe it will extend until season 5. The Duffer Brothers have said that they want to tell the story, take their time and tell the story that they want to tell, but once they've told their story, they're gonna stop, because they do not want to come to the point where the seasons, you know, lose some of their quality value. So they just want to take their time to tell the story, tell it well, and then end it. About the spin-offs, so of course a lot of people have asked the Duffer Brothers if they can imagine doing any spin-offs, and they have said that at the moment they just want to focus on finish the story of Stranger Things, and after that they say they do not rule completely out any kind of spin-offs. So I really hope that they do at some point, and I have seen online a lot of cool ideas for spin-offs. One that was really funny was to kind of see the story of Joyce and Hopper when they were younger. That would be cool. Another thing would be to see how the experiments on the children started, like before they even became in number 11, like when they started at the very beginning doing these experiments on the kids. We could also follow the story of other kids like number 8, maybe get to know her complete backstory. That would be also amazing. I think there are so many cool like plot lines that we could take for spin-offs, and I would love them to do it, just because when Stranger Things come to an end, I'm probably gonna be sad, even though I totally agree that they should end the series when they think, okay, we've told our story, that's it, because I also don't want them to just drag it, you know, just for the sole purpose of make it last longer. That doesn't make any sense. And the new season, I didn't mention this, but the new season is gonna have 8 episodes, and they're all gonna be dropped at the same time like they always do with Stranger Things, so that I can binge watch them. That day I'm not leaving my house. I'm not gonna change my PJs. I'm just gonna be in the couch, probably ordering food so I don't even have to cook and just binge watch the whole season. Okay guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this helped you refresh a little bit the events that we got to experience in season 1 and 2, and give you a little bit of a preview of our really expected season 3 of Stranger Things. Let me know down below all your thoughts on the show. Do you love it? Maybe you don't love it. What are your favorite things, favorite characters, theories of what's gonna happen in season 3? Let all your comments down below, and thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate the support. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more coffee times with me, and it will make me really happy if you also follow me in Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, so we can interact a little bit more with each other. The links to those social media are also in the description down below for you guys, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!